On tonight's episode, we have on Tracey Vlahos. Not only is she an incredible conversationalist, but she is the president at Elan Pure, which is a non-toxic self-tan and wellness brand. She's a women's holistic health educator, a public speaker, business and leadership growth strategist, and former global sales and leadership executive. Her credentials are through the roof, and this conversation does not disappoint. So let's get into the episode.
When you're yourself and you have peace, that is what gives you confidence. And I love helping people to be able to find that seed in them, because sometimes we've lost the seed, we don't even know.
What are some steps that people can take to unfold who they are and really get down to it?
Not one single person walking this earth has it all. Every single person walking this earth has a strength and a limitation. Every single one, nobody does. So guess what? I want you to just stand in yours and own yours, and we're going to start being in your worthiness.
I feel like so many different avenues of life start with asking the right questions.
But what my question always is, what does success feel like?
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my gosh, it's people helping people!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Feels good. Boy, am I excited for today's episode for so many reasons. But I just want to thank everybody for being here. If you are somebody who is just joining us, welcome to the People Helping People family. And if you are a People Helping People alum, well, this one's for you. We love you guys. And I'm not going to waste any time because we have an incredible guest for you guys. I'm so excited to dive into all these different avenues of her life story, who she is today, her future, what molded our guest, Tracey Vlahos. Welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, it is such a pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy to have you on. Welcome to People Helping People. And for the people that don't know, if you could just give us a brief introduction to yourself.
Oh my goodness, talk about an open-ended question right there, introduction.
Right.
My name is Tracey Vlahos, and it was so good. You did a great job pronouncing that. And for people who want to know, it is Greek. So I'm just going to say that because a lot of people ask me that all the time.
Amazing.
So it is. Mm-hmm. And in those years, I'm just going to say I've only been quote unquote Greek now, probably for 16 years. So I'm just going to wink at you and just say that. So I'm not full-blooded Greek, but here I am.
Okay. Fully embraced, though. The Greeks are arms wide open.
They do. And I absolutely love it. And I always say in another lifetime, I think I really was born in Greece and I really was Greek. So Mamma Mia, for those who perhaps are listening, right, with the blonde curly hair, I'm going to take it.
I love it. I love it.
But more important than that, I also a mother. I have two children, a boy and a girl. And I'm going to be just really telling my age now to say that they are 30 and 35. Like, my goodness.
Okay, we got to get into the secret serum of youth later on in this podcast, but I'll let you continue.
And along with that, right, being a single mom for many years, and I know we're going to get into it, and an entrepreneur, and really just, I'm going to say just a girl who just had belief, who loves visionaries like you, and just ended up building several companies. And
beautiful.
I'm going to leave it at that so we can dive in, because Yeah,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I love
Beautiful.
helping other entrepreneurs and inspiring them, no matter their background or what they do, because I know we'll get into it, but just did it from a small town, hometown rural girl from Ohio,
Mm.
with no college education and being a global speaker and running companies. So I'm going to tell you, I don't know, to be honest.
Your credentials are incredible. And I am just so honored for you to take a moment in time and sit with us and have a conversation. It means the world. So thank you so much. And you said something there that I think it would be a great place for us to start, because anybody who's in the entrepreneurial world knows that belief in yourself is such an important, it's so pivotal, it's so key when it comes to becoming successful. And we can dive into the term and definition of successful because it's a broad spectrum, but I want to talk about the belief and where the belief in yourself was instilled in you. Where did you get this belief in yourself?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It is a good question. And I'm not going to say that I have the perfect answer for it,
Mm.
but what I just know is that I felt my best when I was just being me instead of trying to be someone else. And even as a young girl, that's what I realized, because I was such an outsider and I wanted to fit in like so many of us, right? We can remember those times. I don't care how old you get. I think you can still remember elementary school, right? When you're just still, for the first time, you're like, what? I'm navigating life. And what do you mean there are these popular groups and there's other groups and all kinds of things. But what I know, and I can just very thoroughly remember, is that when I wasn't myself, I didn't feel good.
Mm.
And that when I would always try to, I always said, I would look at the classroom or different people. And what made me happy was to be able to be, I shouldn't say it, like friends with the underdog. I wanted everybody to be seen. I thought everybody should feel good and not feel bad about themselves because we weren't over there in this group and we didn't have these, I'm going to say, titles and clothes and things. So it was just, I really do think it's a God-given gift that I was supposed to be born with and do to be able to help others. But when you're yourself and you have peace, that is what gives you confidence. And I love helping people to be able to find that seed in them, because sometimes we've lost the seed. We don't even know. So
It's so true. It's so true. And for you to find that at such a young age and realize that they say that the only person that wants you to succeed more than themselves is your parents, your father and mother. When I hear that and I see personally firsthand people sitting in front of me all the time that have that inside of them, and I feel like it's less and less unique. And there are more people in the world that want other people to succeed more than them. And was that instilled from your parents? I mean, you said that you just came to this realization. Like, did they nurture that?
well, the truth is, they actually didn't nurture it at all. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not being not saying I've had like bad parents,
Sure.
but I'll say I grew up in a very strict religious household, and again, not bashing them for it, because you know what I love? I love it because I know it molded me and it was part of my journey, to be honest with you. So they were more about you following these roles and always being inside this box. And I always felt like I was outside of the box, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from a young girl, how about this? I'll just say, like, I always wanted to have a dress on and even heels. Like, you wouldn't know this about me, but ever since I've been in school and every day of my life, I've worn stilettos. I don't care if it's grocery shopping or doing, but it was just who I was.
Yeah.
And my parents would be like, where did she come from? Like, you know, I used to think like a different planet. Like, but again, it was this, and that's why I love it. It just was in me. I just knew that when I like was a certain way, or I was attracted to something, that little spark. I always tell everybody, like, I know right now, I jump up in my seat when I think about it. Like, your heart should go forward.
I love
And
it.
that when I was like that, I was just being me.
I love that.
And
Yeah. That's so
it
great.
really was from myself, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I almost, it's such a great question. I'm not sure if anybody modeled it for me or if I learned it, if it just was.
Mm. It just
But I
innately was in your blood. I mean, that's a part of your soul, your character. And I feel as though so many people don't really get in tune with whatever their soul or character is trying to tell them who they are from the beginning. And I can totally relate to you as far as me being such an old soul at such a young age and not being able to find my group, my connection to these other kids. And I feel as though that was a detriment through high school and my younger years of my 20s of trying to be something that I thought others wanted me to be versus just being okay with, like, man, these old people rock. Like, the people with some wisdom and some life experience, like those are the people that I resonate with, because we can have real in-depth conversations about things in life. But my question to you is, if somebody is looking for exactly what you're talking about, being themselves, what are some steps that people can take to unfold who they are and really get down to it?
This episode is sponsored by the Diabetes Network of Arizona, a community built by people living with type 1 diabetes for people living with type 1 diabetes. They host Arizona's only family camp for type 1 diabetics, giving kids and family a place to connect, learn, and feel understood. Every dollar raised stays right here in Arizona, helping local families get the care and supplies that they need. No one should ever face diabetes alone, and with your help, they don't have to. You can make a difference today by clicking the donation link in the description. The Diabetes Network of Arizona, building a stronger, healthier Arizona together. Let's get back into the episode.
What are some steps that people can take to unfold who they are and really get down to it?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things I want to share, but one of the things, you said it in the very beginning, that we were going to quote unquote talk about success. And that term means a lot of different things, in my opinion. So I want to pause to say, because of in my business, success could have been about numbers, right? Oh, a certain something on paper, right? I'm not going to be happy until this. And as I work with people, sometimes it's like, until I have this bank account, until I have this house, until I have whatever that is. But what my question always is, what does success feel like?
Ah, so
I'm
good.
going to say that again.
Please,
What does
yes.
success feel like? Because that is different than what success is on quote unquote paper and we believe. And I'll say, take me through a day. Like, what is it? What would success be? When you get up in the morning, what are you drinking? What are you doing? I love to ask all the time. This is one of my favorite questions to an Uber driver. And I don't know why, because I just want to help people. So I ask this question. I always say, if I had a magic wand today, what is it that you would do? Not about money, not about education, that every day, is there something when you were a little kid that you could just dream of? And what have always surprised me is that many people have no idea. They've never even thought about it. And I was so surprised. So when I talk about success, I need you to a couple different things. What does it feel like? And what does that day feel like? And what are you doing? How's your communication? How are you responding to things when things are in chaos? What do you feel like? And if you had a magic wand, what is it? If we want to talk even career-wise, or purpose or passion, right? Because they could all kind of be something a little bit different. What is it that you would do? So I want to give an example for myself. And I didn't think about this probably until I was in my early 40s, just so you know. Is I remember being a little girl and people don't remember this, but in an older home, we had these heaters and they had like pipes and they had water going through them. But then there was like a wooden box that would go over it because you don't want to be touching it, right? And so you could lift it up to like adjust like the heat in your home. Well, to me, that was a stage. And so I would stand on it with my yellow hairbrush and line up my stuffed animals.
Very
I
nice.
was always talking to them about kindness.
Ah.
Like I can see this so clearly about being kind to others, accepting people for who they are. And we could get into that. And I hadn't thought about it until I was in my early 40s taking something. And so these are the things I ask people, what was it when you were a little kid? What was, I mean, so many people have just thought about it and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, if you can't do that, I remember this one Uber driver and I said, can you go volunteer? Can you go volunteer in an organization? Because you said you want that and you don't see a career in that. But have you ever Googled or searched or ever been a part of an event? Or can you go volunteer? Because I'm telling you, when you do that, you have that fulfillment. So I could just go on and on about all that.
I love that. Start with asking the question. That question in itself, and I feel like so many different avenues of life start with asking the right questions, whether it be from yourself, from your peers, your loved ones, people you've never met before. Asking the right questions is so important. And as you're talking about that, I'm thinking, what does success look like to me? Right? And I don't want to say that I draw a blank because I know the path of what people helping people can turn into. And I know the impact that we want to make.
Yeah.
But what does that feel like? Is it respect? Is it love? Is it just charitable, non-selfish acts of kindness and changing other people's lives? But in turn, what does that do for me? And like, so you opened a can of worms. And I really appreciate that. It's so good. And it's so important. So yeah, I challenge the people listening to ask yourself that. And I also think like, gosh, how many different avenues of success are there? You know, I feel so successful right now having these conversations with people. I just feel over the moon excited to be able to sit down and have people with as much wisdom as yourself sit down and have these conversations with me, having me self-reflect and look at life through a different lens. So I want to give you one of these. Hold on. So good. Oh, that's Kayla on the ones and twos. That's her sound that she adds in.
Thank you, Kayla.
Oh, she doesn't have a mic, but she's over there with headphones on. So let's talk about what you are finding. You said sometimes when you ask people, you know, what their success looks like, and the question, gosh, just coming up with a blank, really. I feel as though maybe people in your shoes, you had become a mother at such a young age. How do you navigate that question to yourself while also juggling motherhood and building businesses and having this incredible life that you've lived? What does that balance look like?
You know, gosh,
Sorry,
and you just said the word.
Really
I know. Can you just tell? Like my head just went.
I'm sorry. You could think of that.
No, this is so good. Because I feel like for so long, so many of us always talked about work-life balance. Like, how do you create work-life balance, right? Yeah. And so I was a single mom. I definitely worked 7 days a week, without a doubt. I mean, and so I want to share this, not to freak anybody out, but I probably worked 100 hours a week every week. It just was part of what I did. But I want to pause to say, and I want to circle back, but I also was blessed to do what I loved. So it gave me energy to do it. So that was the difference. I want to pause to say this. I always say to my children, it doesn't matter whatever you do. I just wanted them to just love what they did. I said, because you're going to have bad days. You're going to have to work hard. Right. And there's no such thing as perfection. Right. And they watched it all the time. But I'm like, if you love what you do and you're getting to use some of those gifts It's going to help keep you going. It's going to keep your mindset so that you don't crumble.
Mhm.
Okay. So that was so
Foundational.
important.
Yeah.
But when we talked about work-life balance, I always imagine a scale like, when you go to the grocery store and you're weighing something and the scale goes up and down, or like a Libra, right? I always thought, I've never met anybody who was perfectly balanced. There's no such thing. And I remember thinking, but what is work-life harmony? Work-life harmony. So I would say to people, so many times it's hard for your spouse or your children. Sometimes I've heard people say, get behind me. So I always, would ask them, what is the work-life harmony for you and your family? Have you ever sat down before and asked them, what does that look like for us? Because I said, that is completely different. I can remember one time in particular, there was this woman, and she worked a lot. I mean, it was just particularly what I did. I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. And she was this way top seller over here. And her husband even had retired to help and support her and do all this, and I'm going to call her Susie Q because her name really was Susie. And then Mary over here felt like a failure because she wasn't Susie. And I said, Mary, help me understand what you and your family want. What is work-life harmony and what does success feel like for you? I said, could you do what Susie does? She's like, well, no. I got to get to my sporting events with my kids. And I said, oh, so success for you is making sure that you can get to sporting events. I said, oh, so I said, work-life balance, harmony for you is that you get to work and be in what you love, but you still get to do that. You still get to put, eat dinner. So I always say you need to sit with your family and ask them, like, what does that look like for us? If mom has to work 2 nights a week, right? Can I have your support on that? If the other 3 nights I do X, Y, and Z with you. I say, because so many times we don't ask the question. And then they're like, mom's on her phone, right? Because our businesses are so much on our phone and this and that. And I said, no, you sit down in a family and go, what is success for us? What does harmony look like for us? So I created, to your point, harmony for me, what worked for me and my kids, that worked so well.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You asking these questions is so pivotal. Like just sitting here, I'm taking a lot from this conversation already, and I knew I would. You have people that are out there just advocating for you thoroughly through and through, and I understand why. I think that a lot of self-reflection and those open-ended questions for yourself and really finding the definition of your story, your love, your different avenues of the things that compel you. Like, why does this compel me? Why does this make me want to reach X, Y, Z? And then when I do, what does that feel like? Because if I'm not mistaken, you have the opportunity to feel that way right now, right? What are your thoughts on like manifestation, on looking forward and feeling what has not come to fruition as of yet?
And I love that you said manifestation, because I just believe the mind is so powerful. If no one has ever read out there, I've never read The Secret. I've gifted it to so many people.
It's so good.
It's so good. It forever changed my life in 2010. So many years ago, in the depths of my career. Definitely, right? My children were 30 and 35. Now they're high schoolers, right? You're in the depths of a lot of things. And because our mind we can't help it. We can start thinking about everything we don't have or the things that are going wrong. And manifestation had me focus really on gratitude and on all the things that were going right. And that is where, I can't believe you asked me the question, when I ask people, what does success feel like to you? Because manifestation is a feeling. And when you feel what the future is, you feel what you want to feel, even when you don't even have it all the way, but you're being in gratitude for things, you can't help but to attract it. I'm gonna say this. I had never bought a new car in my life. Doesn't matter. That was okay. But I remember going to work and I really wasn't loving my car. You want to know the truth? Right? I'd go to work and I'd have my little hands on the wheel. Now, I wasn't like mad about it or nothing, but I really wanted right. And I remember very clearly, that's where oddly been able to hear, if you can't appreciate the car that you have, how can you appreciate a brand new car?
Oof. So
I'm sorry, but I will never forget that in my life.
Mm.
There are a lot of people who wish they had a car. Truth. Car was paid off. I could put gas in it. You mean I didn't appreciate that?
Mm.
And I'm complaining? Right? Not really complaining because I'm not a complainer, but that I want, so I remember every day, and my children to this day still do it. I mean, I love on my car. My son has an Acura that I think is like 2009. He's like, I just love her, Mom. I talk to her every day. She's the best. And I always do. I said, you put your hands around that wheel. And I mean, you mean gratitude.
Oof. That's so
That's
good.
the feeling. So like you said, when you talked about manifesting and feeling, it's feeling in the moment and knowing, yes, what you want, but you can't have that if you don't even appreciate this right here in front of you.
Gosh.
So
I want to let that sit for a moment because what you just said is so, so important. And to flex that muscle is not always the easiest thing. But if I think what you just said, implementing one thing that you know that is going to come across your table every single day, whether it be your cup of joe, whether it be your vehicle, or in my case, Zeus is what I call my pickup, right? But I sit in there and I feel that way. So as you're saying that, I resonate with it. And I think that that is a great path to opening those neural pathways and rewiring the brain and realizing that what you feed your mind is so important. So important.
can I say something to that?
Please, yeah, open-ended conversation.
Oh, okay. Because what you just said, I won't get into it, but after 14 years in the first career, right, I resigned and went back to school for holistic health.
Oh,
Right. So it was all about wellness on a cellular level because all of us were working so hard, but felt like we were falling apart. And I thought, what? That's not success. We were not working this hard to then fall apart. Anyway, I don't want to get digressed and get all sidetracked there. But one of the things that I learned, and you just said something very important, is I said, yes, what you feed your body is very important on a cellular level, right? How you feel, your brain fog, your aches, your pains, so many things. I want you to know, I listened to your story last night in the gym. I was crying. I can't go back because I'll start crying. I can't believe that's the one I listened to. I scrolled and listened to that. So that's a whole other conversation we have. Sorry, I got sidetracked. It was so beautiful. But I said, I'm going to tell you something even more important. And that is what you feed the mind. What's not on the end of your fork. That, what you feed the mind is where the man is going to go, your physical self. And I said, what do I mean by that? What are you listening to on the radio, podcasts you're listening to? What social media are you watching and feeding your mind? I said, what is it? What books are you reading? What station do you have on? Because I will tell you, people have made fun of me. Because in the car, I always, now listen, I'm dating myself again a little bit. That's okay. It is what it is, right? Like I own it. I would have CDs. I never listened to anything else because I knew what I fed my mind. But I've had so many people, though, that said to me, you're right, Tracey. I need to go unfollow anything that is not aligning with how I want to feel. Because if all of a sudden you come across something, and if you get that, because you know that you either get that like tingly, fuzzy feeling, you love it, or you're like, ugh, and I want to just, type something back. No, if you're getting, and it's making you maybe angry or even just whatever, you know what? I encourage you, please, right now, because you are worthy to take control of your life. Guess what you get to control? Unfollow. You get to control what you watch. You get to control what you listen to. And I always say that is why my feeds at all times, there's nothing. Every day, you know what I say? Lord, what am I supposed to read today that maybe is supposed to be a message for me? Or who's supposed to show up today that maybe I'm going to leave a comment and I don't ever need to know that brighten their day? I get to control that. There are many things in my life I can't control, but what you can, I'm going to encourage you right now to take control, because you are worthy to live your purpose, to be your authentic self, and not let those things creep in your mind that steal your joy. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. No, I'm just kidding. Mic drop.
But it's true.
So good. Yes, you're so right. And I sit here as a consumer. I sit here as your average person and know that I am at fault all the time of consuming certain things and having these moments of realizing I need to bounce back. And it does start with the realization, with the self-reflection, with the moment of just identifying that these things are not good for me, right? When you're mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, you're being fed whatever that algorithm wants to feed you. And unfortunately, algorithms are trained to trigger an emotional response. And I know that a human is not supposed to go from tearing up to angry to sad to laughing to tearing up to angry to sad to laughing in a matter of 15 minutes, and really feeling those emotions over and over and over and over. And I feel like that is where this dullness starts to happen. I feel like the blade of emotional integrity starts to dull. And it's so sad when I hear you speaking about that, and I think about our youth, and I think about, like, Kayla and I were just out having a Mother's Day dinner, and I'm looking over there, and there's these two kids, you know, and we're in a pretty nice restaurant, and they're sitting there with headphones on and iPads watching a game. And I just, it's sad. That's plain and simple. It's so sad. It's like that them going through those emotions, especially at that age, not knowing how to regulate them. And then you are curious why they have outbursts all the time. It's because they have no concept of self-regulation, period. So you saying that, again, you're reminding me of so many amazing things in life that start with inner work and self-realization. And a lot of that comes with just an individual who, I know I'm not perfect, right? I know that I'm broken in so many ways, and I know that I slip, but it takes accountability. And when you take the accountability and you say, okay, this is where I'm screwing up, I need to take hold of this, and you still are going to slip. Don't worry. It's on its way. But recognizing and doing something about that, so important.
That, I think, is one of the most beautiful things, is that we're always going to slip. First of all, there's never going to be a time. Do you know how many times, for example, I've pulled out The Secret? I'm like, oh, girl, you're needing a little refresher. You're just going to read the chapters are so many. You're just going to one at a time. Yeah. But you just said, so you know what I always ask for? I say, oh, please let the nudges come. When I'm starting to slip or do things, because we live in an imperfect world, right? And we're just humans, but please get the nudge. Please don't let it get so far on the other side. So nudge me back. Yes. Because here we go again. I'm going to have to, you know, we're not starting, but I always go, so when the nudges come, I go, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I literally do say, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love that. I love that. And I think about this too. You brought up something about finding your self-worth. And I think about that question in a grand scale of so many people dealing with their self-worth. And it's easy to wallow in your circumstances. Me, as you know, you watch the episode of what I've got going on. I know that there are one of two ways that I could look at life. And so I guess I ask you that why do so many people struggle with self-worth and just recognizing?
Tonight's episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by Mike Silkowski. He's your local partner in getting your message in front of the right people. Mike specializes in helping businesses right here in Southern Arizona reach their ideal customers through TV and streaming services. He's not just sponsoring this chapter 3 of People Helping People. He's building partnerships, and he doesn't succeed unless you do. If you're ready to grow your business with someone who's invested in your success, call Mike at 515-305-5311. Again, that's 515-305-5311.
Why do so many people struggle with self-worth and just recognizing?
What I believe, right? So I'm just going to say this is my only belief, is we always focus on our limitations. I'm going to call them. Here, let me say it this way. Each one of us have beautiful strengths and superpowers. Every single one of us. And I love helping people to be able to navigate that. And each and every single one of us have limitations. I don't like to call them weaknesses. I like to call them limitations. Okay. But we focus so much on the limitation. I wish I was like that. I wish I could be that. I wish I had that, even body type, speak. It doesn't matter that all of a sudden I don't feel worthy because I'm not focused on actually what my strengths are, what my superpowers are. So many years ago, okay, 20, why do I have to, boy, I'm really aging myself the entire time on this show, but this is okay again. I went through and got certified. I'm just going to share this in case it helps anybody. It was called DISC, D-I-S-C. And when you took it, you learned your communication style, who you were, your strengths, your limitations. You also learn, why do I connect with that person more than the other? Or why do I seem to be perceived a certain way, right? So I love before each and every, I would just do this 2.5-day event. And before we did, you had to go through it. Because one, I wanted you to walk away. You needed to start that event knowing exactly who you were and standing in your power, knowing. And I wanted you to know everybody else in that room and why you were different. Well, why does she talk like that always? Or why does that person over there? Well, now you get it. It actually is their superpower and strength. Sometimes, right? But you're just different. But different isn't bad. I always say different is different, right? A straight, it doesn't matter. Giraffe is even different is different. But when you start recognizing and you can sit in yourself, I had so many people in tear going, what? There's nothing wrong with me? You mean that is me? And then we get to the end, right? Or maybe once we'll have a husband in the room. This is so funny. He'd be like, sweetheart, I've been telling you this for years. This is you.
Yeah.
And I'd say, oh my gosh, don't fight it anymore. This is you. And we're going to just focus in on that. So I don't know. I would love to be able to find, I'm going to write this down, a free assessment that maybe we could even link, because I will tell you, going through it and knowing there's nothing wrong with you, that is you, and this is your limitation. And guess what? Not one single person walking this earth has it all. Every single person walking this earth has a strength and a limitation. Every single one. Nobody does. So guess what? I want you to just stand in yours and own yours, and we're going to start being in your worthiness.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kayla. She's deserving of Kayla Coffey's sound here. Wow. I mean, again, your energy is palpable. I feel your passion. I feel that you know that you're walking with purpose, and I can see why you are so successful at what you do in the lives that you change with the simple questions that you've already broke down for me to self-reflect and the way that I'm grateful for you to be here, to say the least. And I know that our listeners are going to be getting a lot from this as well. And I want to talk about you remind, my little sister is like my pride and joy. I love her so much. And she has this energy that you have. She's explosive and she brings people in and she's just captivating. And I I've always just looked at her, and it's interesting that we're having this discussion because I've looked at her and her social battery is so much higher than mine. I've come to love who I am and come to terms with the person that I am and have become based on environment and circumstances. But there was always that that man, I wish that I could captivate that. I wish that I could have that. And I just love seeing that there are more people in the world that are as passionate and as strong-willed and are just huge energy balls of love. So I just want to give you your flowers. You're amazing.
Well, thank you. But what I want to say is that you, and I know you know this, I hope so, you've got this amazing podcast. You have the same strength and ability, right? Ours, I'm going to say ours. I'm going to put your sister and I together in a ball,
do it, please.
right? And yes, we've got whatever this energy is, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what I love. Like when I get people ready to speak, like you, people are like, "What? I Tracey, I'm not you." I'm like, "Oh, please do not be. We really sometimes don't need another one out there, but you're going to be you." And the way your tone, like you have the most soothing tone, and you take in. Like last night, I listened to 3 of your podcasts. I want you to know. And I'm like, oh, his energy and passion, he's so in his purpose. And right now, gift, Lord, I was just like, oh my goodness, that it may look different, but it's still the same outcome. But we can't help it. Before we know better, like you say, oh, I wish I could be like her. No, you don't.
Well, I have to say, you bring out the best in me, as my sister does as well, and my beautiful girlfriend Kayla. Like just these types of individuals. So I want to thank you again, and I want to talk about our environment because I feel as though our environment has such an impact on the way that we see life, the lens that we look at life through. And I know that I used to be a class clown when I was younger. You know, if there was a moment of silence, I was kicking back in the chair and my feet were in the air and whatever, you know, and through wanting to be an individual, a man, and starting to veer off into the world of the unknown, of independence, I found myself starting to become more staunch and needing to be manlike and like this weird ego that was starting to evolve over time. But it was because of my environment and moving out at 16 years old and having to hold my independence as a shield. Because if anybody asks you if you're okay when you're on your own at 16, working 3 jobs and have a house, you cannot tell them that you're not okay. That that molded this odd thing. So environment changes who you are so much. And I would love for you to talk about how the impact of your environment can shape who you are.
Yeah, oh gosh. Well, first of all, I didn't get to hear that part of your story. I'm like, what episode was this?
I've lived a lot of lives.
I know. Sorry. I'm like, because I get so fascinated with people and sorry. I was like, oh, I need to hear this. But sorry, I can go squirrel, as you know. I mean,
I love it. I'm the same way.
Well, I'm going to take it back for myself. I worked with a lot of women, right? Not a bad thing, in an entrepreneurial way, right? And so a lot of people say, well, my environment, right, is very negative. My environment, right, is Tracey this or that, and they don't support me. Almost what you said, right? Our environment can pull us down. And so that's when I'll go back to, I can appreciate I would never say to anybody, and I'm going to look at you like, oh, well, divorce him and leave him, right? You got to get out of the environment unless it was really bad. However, I'm going to say, if your environment, if there's something in you and you're just like, it's not, I'm going to circle back almost to what I said earlier. You're going to need to listen to things that help you and being the worthiness you are inside. You're going to need to start even Perhaps be intentional. There's free courses online and things because your environment can really mold you. But there's something in you right now. If you're listening and you're like, oh, I don't want to use this word hate. I dislike my environment. My environment's holding me back. I need you to come and sit with that. And what is it that you can listen to or be a part of, or as I would even tell people, go volunteer, that helps and feed that in you. And whatever that is next for you, I'm not saying leave anything, but to make sure, this is why I want to be so careful with my words because people have taken me wrong when I say different things.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or get out of the environment. Now that's easier said than done. And that's a whole other podcast. You know, I was in a very abusive relationship and I put together a 5-year plan, 5 years, because I knew that's how long it would take me to get out of that environment. That was really bad. That was holding me back, that there were a lot of things going on. But whatever that is for you, I'm going to tell you, you live this one life and that's it. There's help out there. You are worthy of any of it. Yes, your environment is huge. I'm never going to take that away from you. But what I also know is tiny scooches can get you out of that environment. Is what I'm going to say.
Baby steps.
Just tiny, like you said, little baby steps. Because 1 year, 2 year, like for me, 5 years sounds so far away. I could have just stayed in it. But I was like, no, I shouldn't say it's 2. I can remember going 3 more Christmases, 2 more Christmases. I mean, literally counting down. Okay, this is what I need to do next. I need to be able to, do X, Y, and Z to get us out of there. With no education, being told I was stupid every single day. I never amount to anything. I couldn't. So I'm just going to encourage people. What I'm saying sounds very simple, and I'm not trying to make it simplistic. It's not. But I want you to be intentional, tiny little things. Start today. 1 year, 2 years from now. Because when we look back, we're like, time goes like that. Where I promise you, you can get out of that environment if it's holding you back or making and creating something in you that you're not liking.
I love it. Little scooches. And as we're talking about manifestation, I just feel like there's so many parallels in life to taking small steps towards whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Manifestation, sitting in your car, being thankful. Let's just start with thankful. Taking little scooches, as you say, which I love, taking little scooches to bettering yourself in one way or another. And yeah, gosh, it's so important. It's so pivotal. And you're a phenom. I see what the people are saying are true, and you're incredible. I just feel like at the end of everything that you say, there's an incredible mic drop right there for you, and you give so much to think about in such a great way, in a manageable way. And I thank you for your life experience in turning that into wisdom for the world, because I feel as though true wisdom is becoming hard to sit with and find somebody that you really resonate with. Yes, it's out there, but these types of interactions of sitting and having a conversation with somebody who truly has experience and is willing to share that experience is unique. And I thank you.
Well, I thank you for creating this platform that does just that.
Yeah, we're doing. Yeah.
This is you, right? You just happen to attract people. And that's what I want to thank you every week, showing up like you are doing it. So, for that person out there, we just said, I want you, when I talked about scooches or whatever it was, I encourage you this week, I don't care, unfollow 2 things that steal your joy. And you make sure you follow this podcast, though, every week, because you know it's going to give you something else to think about and be able to help you with another scooch forward. That's how this happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I'm sitting here, like I said, with so much, I guess, self-reflection and I was just having this conversation with Kayla the other day. I'm like, man, why am I getting sucked into social media at all? Like, I know that it's kind of a mind numbing exercise, almost like being an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever. You're finding something to numb everything else that's going on versus finding something constructive to replace it with. And I just know I'm going to be thinking about this conversation a whole lot. Tracey, you're so incredible. And you know what? We have had a huge fan of yours that happens to be sitting on the podcast. This is going to be a podcast first, so I hope you don't mind.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, great. So, given your energy and who you are, we have a fan of you, a big fan of you, and they would like to jump on the show and ask you a question. So, what do you think about having our first caller on People Helping People?
I love this. Like, listen, my heart's pounding, and I'm like, this.
Let's do it. So let's bring in our friend Adam. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Hello.
How are
you, Miss Tracy?
Oh my gosh! Well, first of all, the incredible Adam is with us now.
Goodness.
Like, holy moly!
You never want to lose.
Thank you. So, Tracy, I have listened to you and I have known you, and you are I'm probably one of your biggest fans in the world. And I gotta ask, and it's human and I understand, but what do you do if and when you do have a bad day? How does that affect you, and how does that affect, because you do wake up, you pray, you do your thankfulness and everything, but how do you get out of having a bad day?
Great question,
Adam. That's a great question, because that's real. And I can't, Adam, I'm so glad, because people have said to me, Tracy, you always this happy? Do you have always this energy? Well, yes, like it's just part of me. But guess what? I have bad days too. I'm human too, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And Adam, I'm going to, if I may, answer this almost in twofold. If I get up too early, too quick, this is going to sound so weird. When I get up in the morning, I will flip on my back and I always say, thank you for the mattress on my bed. Thank you for the ceiling above my head. And as I'm walking to the bathroom, I always say, thank you. And I turn on the water to get a drink of water, brush my teeth. I feel like that always sets my day. Can I say something? If I don't do that, because let's be honest, alarm goes off, I don't feel like I need to get up. If I don't start my day that way, darn it. It gets off into a spiral. First, I'm going to say that. So, and I'll know it. I'll go, gosh, darn it. That's, it's my fault. I shouldn't have. But now let's say, to your point, Adam, what you just asked, I literally know that I have to I always say you have to add in to crowd out. Here's what I mean by that. Think about it, food. I don't take just food away from people. No, you got to add stuff in that you enjoy, because then you get to crowd it out, right? Brings joy. You got to add in to crowd out. I know I have to crowd out something in my mindset. And I will listen to a podcast. I have a playlist and I will turn that on. That's for me, because I'm like, girl, you need to feed your mind, right? What I talked about, what's not on the end of your fork, you better crowd out and add in, and I got to add something in. That shift will shift it for me.
Wow.
Have your playlist ready. Have different podcasts. There's something that I'll even watch on YouTube. I don't know how many hundreds of times. I have to watch it. I know when I have to.
I love it. Adam, thank you so much for coming onto the show and asking such an incredible question. I could have not asked it better myself. Do you have anything else for us, Adam, before we let you go?
No, that's it. Thank you, Tracy. That absolutely answered my question, and I'm going to start doing that as well. So I appreciate that, and God bless you both.
All right, Adam, I'm going to be asking you what you're listening to. I'll give you a few days, Adam.
Okay.
And then,
okay.
There we go, right?
I will put it on as my People Helping People Live Tracy podcast or Tracy playlist.
That's perfect.
I love it. Adam, you rock. Thanks so much for being a People Helping People first phone call in. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Adam.
Kayla on the ones and twos. You know, Tracy, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be here. And with the credentials like yours, your time is so valuable. For you to sit down with us and spread some of your wisdom and knowledge is an absolute honor.
No, it's an honor to be on here.
Mm.
Honestly, I want you to know, people helping people. As soon as I saw the title, I was like, what? Oh, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like this, I have to. And listening. So anybody listening, if you're a first time listener, please go back and listen to every single one of the podcast. Listen to different ones. I last night listened to 3 at the gym. I couldn't help myself. You just, because you get sucked in, like our spirits do want good. Get off of TikTok, get off of things that aren't bringing you joy, get on the playlist and do this, because what you're doing is phenomenal. I already see, because I'm a visionary. God gave me the gift to be able to see, and I already know where it's going. So thank you for following your heart and for being who you are and for bringing on gifts.
Yeah. Oh man, you make me a little emotional there. I appreciate you. I
Truth.
appreciate you.
Truth.
I just, before we end this show, which I don't want to, but you know, before we end the show, are there any topics or anything that you'd like to discuss, or do you have some words you'd like to leave us with, some questions? I guess the floor is yours, Tracy.
Yeah, I think we've said a lot. I know I say a lot.
Oh,
I understand that, right? And I just want, how about this? I just, whatever it is that you're going through or that you want more of, please, it's so easy to listen to a podcast, to leave something and go, oh, my life is going to change. Oh, I'm going to do that, right? But then we get sucked back into the world. That's just reality. And so I just encourage you, please make a note on your phone. And I want you, if there was something you wrote down or thought about, like in 2 days, maybe when you have some time or this weekend, go back to it. Set that reminder. Because again, I don't care. I will say this to the end of the time. You are worthy to sit down, to listen again. You took the time to be here for the past hour. There's something you want. We only give time to things that are important to us. There's something important to you. And if it's important to you, then you need to give time to it and start scooching your way there. And that's going to be about holding yourself accountable.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Where can the people reach you, Tracy?
Really, Instagram is probably where I'm the most active on.
What's your Instagram?
And
Let's shout it out.
yeah, it's Tracey, Tracey.
It's like my mama.
I love this even more. So it's Tracey with an EY, Lady, Lady, V as in victory. Tracey Lady, V as in victory. I'll tell everybody, they laugh because my last name is Vlahos. Nobody knows how to say it or spell it, and they all call me Lady V. And I'm telling them, so just Tracey Lady V, and there you go.
What an honor. Thank you so much, Tracy. We appreciate you. And this is one of many chapters between you and I. I just want to open my arms and my network to you. If there's anything that we can do for you here at People Helping People, if you have new revelations, you just want to sit down and have a conversation, if there's something or anything that you want to talk about, just know that we are here for you. So welcome to the family, and we really appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to open to you that I would love to interview you and Kayla.
Oh,
yeah. So listen, do you see what I just did to everybody? Because there's more of your story that needs to be. And so I would be honored someday to interview the both of you on your very own podcast.
Wow, that would be great. What do you think, baby? We can do that, she says. Yeehaw. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracey Vlahos. Thank you. Mwah. Oh my gosh, what an incredible interview. I just felt like that was, man, selfishly, I just pulled so much from that moment, from that hour of time. And I know that I'm going to go back on this episode, like she said, those little scooches moving yourself forward in increments and not trying to take everything head on. The realization of looking inside and asking those questions and taking accountability for, oh my gosh, like this is a mic drop episode for me. It feels so good. And I just appreciate you, Tracey, so much for being here. And I appreciate you guys at People Helping People. Listen, we started this not knowing what this was going to turn into. We knew exactly where we wanted it to go, but we had no idea how we were going to get there. As of right now, we had chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to run you through those real quickly if you're just joining us for the first time. Chapter 1, we had 30 live shows in 30 days. That was us here finding our voice. Who are we? What do we stand for? Can I speak? Let's find out. So that's what we did. I was getting my reps in. We had 17 guests on in that first chapter. Chapter 2, we built a community. And chapter 2, we raised over $3,800 to go to kids I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We raised over $3,800 to send kids with type 1 diabetes to a diabetic camp. Incredible. That was you guys who did that. And that is the beauty of this, which leads me into chapter 3, driven to give. We supplied a family with reliable transportation. And again, it's you guys that are doing this. We are the vessel, and we thank you for being here to make these things come to fruition. And at the end of that chapter, we had no idea how we were going to make it happen. And gosh dang it, we pulled it off. Then chapter 4 rolled around, and we wanted to put new shoes on kids' feet. We opened up our subscription service on peoplehelpingpeoplelive.com. We send you mail every single month just to thank you for being a part of this subscription service. And then we take 100% of those proceeds and give it to the people that need it most. And we put 7 brand new pairs of shoes on kids' feet in foster homes. And they got to pick out the shoes that they wanted, whether it be the $100+ Air Force Ones or the Vans, or we wanted to make sure that they felt good. They were no boat goofing. And because of you guys, we were able to make that happen. And here we are in chapter 5, and we're dealing with the same exact foster home that gave us the outlet to be able to help these kids. And I said, send me a list. What do you guys need? A couple of the kids we gave new shoes to, she said that she saw them smile for the first time in a long time. Come on. Crazy. So, anyways, what do they need? And she said they need backpacks. They need good backpacks. Anytime they get backpacks, they suck. So, what the heck? Why am I crying? Anyways, that's what we're doing in chapter 5. If you want to be involved and be a part of the community, we know not everybody can get outside of their home to make a difference. So we're here to be the outlet for you. And we'd like to show you the difference that we make. Not only do we get to cut the check today for the kids to go to the diabetic camp in June, but we get to sit here and have incredible conversations, and that's because of you guys. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. We love you. And we'll see you every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and every other Friday for a live show. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.